all you beautiful people, and welcome back to In the Mix. My name is Nick Hanson. Alongside me, I have Isaac Goldblatt.
Howdy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What a special week it was up there.
It was very special to have Maple Hill followed right after GMC while we have the fall and autumn changing. Being up in the nature has been very magical.
Yeah, that part of the country this time of year is something you need to see if you haven't been yourself. Highly recommend. And then, while you're up there, play the courses. There's a great list of courses you can play, not only the ones we played, but also ones close like Pyramid and a handful of others.
Yeah, 501, that's a very good one up in the Massachusetts area. But heading into this event, we have the Maple Hill Open and MVP. And this is a playoff, the second playoff after GMC. People are battling for tour points and to get on the All-Star card. It's a close battle in the top between Paul and Ricky, so I know that's going to come down to some final strokes down here in MVP.
Yeah, depending on the finish, it'll really shake up the top four in that All-Star card that they're going to announce at the end of this event. Kicking it off on day one, the men's round actually got canceled, so the men will play a 3-round tournament without a cut, and the women will play a 4-round event with a cut, correct?
Correct, and that first day, which was it was a Thursday, it was brutal. Anybody who was up there, it was raging thunderstorms back and forth. The women had to have multiple time delays for lightning strikes, and it was definitely a battle for the ladies. Luckily, it was a day for us to catch up on our work, but having to see those ladies battle it out, having a full 4 days, it was something else.
Yeah, so let's kick it off with the men, starting with their round one, which was actually on Friday. And coming into this event, this is a course that anyone can really do well at if they're like commanding their disc well, I would say, and making good putts. So getting into it, our first day, the leader came out as Raven Newsom, shooting a 10.64 5 under par there.
Yeah, no surprise to see Raven coming out swinging. This is a course that he does well. Last year, we got to see that bow and arrow shooting in circle twos left and right. So to see him doing well right after he had some injury problems, it's exciting to see round one swinging.
Yeah, that first round, he definitely had some putts that were arrow worthy, I would say.
Oh, yeah, and if anyone saw that one on 15, it kind of did a little trickling, and it was very fun to see, but it may not have been aimed right at the basket.
Yeah, that was a good one that just kind of hit, fell, and then dropped right in.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
When you have those things going right during rounds that you're playing well, it makes it so much better. You're like, well,
I can't stop it.
Here it is.
I'm on fire.
I'm making them when they're in, or making them when they're on, and I'm making them when I miss a little, so that's always an exciting round to have. Following it up is Linus and Corey Ellis with a 10.57 4 under par. And then we have quite a few tied at 3 under par with a 10.50 round on the first day. Paul Macbeth, Jeremy Coling, Benjamin Callaway, Jason Hebenheimer, Drew Gibson, Gandenberg, and Kyle Klein.
I'm going to correct you real quick. That's a Jake Hebenheimer. Jake Hebenheimer's a excellent player out there. He's been making the lead cards and making our chase card a bit more. He was part of the $1 Million Ace Challenge and has a great distance is what that was paired to, and so it's sick to see him up at the top.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I called him Jason there. I don't think we really even have any Jasons on the tour that are up.
No, I don't know a Jason. No.
So sorry, Jake, there, but congratulations on your first round, 3 under par. The hardest hole for the first day was hole 6, playing at .77 over par. What do you think of that?
I'm not surprised whatsoever. Hole 6, especially from the golds, is a difficult position where it's about that tee, off the tee, because it's a long kind of downhill shot. You have OB on your right, very narrow and tight, that if it bounces quick, you're out. And if you fade out too hard, you could end up in the water left OB as well. So you got to get a nice straight shot. And then your approach is up around those trees, so it's very easy to get tied up.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the harder holes to get your birdie from inside the circle. You can get around that corner and have a circle 2 putt if you're on the inside, or if you go a little long left, you can also get a circle 2 putt. Quick shout out for hole 1 in that first round. Jeremy Colling and Albert Tam were the only birdies on hole 1. Hole 1 is always playing as a more difficult hole on the course, and to get a birdie on that tough green, it's very impressive, I would say.
For sure.
Let's kick it over to round 2.
Round 2, battling out here at Maple Hill. Corey Ellis is going to come in hot with an 8 down. That's going to be a 1078. It's impressive to see Corey coming in and really dominating these woods. I feel like the woods game is his territory where he can define his easier putter shots and then maximize his birdie opportunities by putting in all those putts.
Yeah, he's one of the best putters on tour, and he also can throw a great standstill, which I feel comes into play here quite often if you get off the woods, to have that power and accuracy with the standstill from him. Very helpful, especially, I would say, on some of the longer holes where if you get like an early kick right, most of the time you're going to be in a standstill when you get off on the woods here.
Yeah, Maple Hill is not your open course. It is not a ball golf course. You have lots of trees, different elevation changes, and weird footing. So having that standstill and that being able to move the disc through the woods as he's able to is definitely a advantage. So after Corey, we have Gannon Burr and Linus. Gannon with the 6 down and Linus with the 5. Following is going to be Thomas Gilbert. On our chase card would be Benjamin Callaway, Matt Bell, the local Simon Lazat, and Vino Makala.
Yeah, Simon shot an 8 down to jump, 30 or so spots. He was at 2 over after the first day.
Yeah, after the first day, shooting a 2 over and then showing what you're really worth the second day, he came back to fight to get the chase card.
And no surprise here, hole 6 once again playing as the hardest hole in the course.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to change a day. Hole 6 is probably the hardest hole, followed by hole 7. It's kind of brutal that they go 6, 7, 8. Those are some of the hardest holes if you're not getting it on the green and getting straight shots.
So moving into the final day, we have a grouping at the top of scores that are very close to each other, and then Corey with a short lead of 3 strokes, which at this course can be gone in a matter of holes, or it can be extended in that same amount of holes. Most holes here you can birdie, but you also have the chance to double bogey on some of them.
Yeah, it was there was a lot of energy that last day. To see Paul and Ricky were on the third card with 2 locals, Dylan Capicoli and Casey White. So that was a hot card to follow. Paul was making a run, and at one point, I know we were probably only on hole 11, and he was pushing for first, and so it was anybody's game.
Yeah, Paul actually ended up matching the hot round from day 2 of 8 under par to push, like you said, into the lead for a while and give not only chase card, but lead card a run.
Definitely a run.
As we finish out the day, Simon Lazat is the story here. He's the main reason. The excitement was there, I would say, on that last day at the end.
For sure. Simon finished at a 16 down and had lead card to follow, only 2 strokes back and two holes to play. So Linus and Corey only had to get birdies on. They ended up getting birdies on 17, having to fight on 18, and in Simon's favor, it did not work out.
Yeah, with both players tied with Simon going into hole 18, they both, one struggled off the tee. Corey got out very well. It was a very impressive tee shot. He followed it up with a shot that did go OB, unfortunately. Throwing from the out of bounds, since he did not cross the drop zone, and so in that case, he wouldn't go to the drop zone. He actually hit off the bucket for his par save. Yeah, which would have tied them and sent them into a playoff.
Yeah, that was an incredible run. Everybody just chomping at the bit, biting their teeth, just watching that, and it just clinked right off.
with the third round, the hardest hole was hole 6 again. Each round it did get a little easier, but it was still at 0.48 over par. So congratulations to our winner. Congratulations to the MPO field in general. A very tough course, and to get through, and with the amount of scores we had under par, it was incredible to watch. It was a good event, and it was an exciting chase card win to end the DGTP playoffs.
An incredible chase card win. We've been hunting one for way too long. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you check out that back 9 on Gatekeeper Media.
I would also like to shout out to the winners of the All-Star card. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
The 4 people on there were Calvin Heinberg, Gannon Burr, Paul Macbeth, and Ricky Wysocki. No surprise there to see those 4 at the top of the list. Gannon has had an incredible season as a young gun. Paul Macbeth is, Paul Macbeth. Calvin has been playing very well. I could see him doing well at the next events, USDGC, or even the Match Play Championship at the end of the year. But the Paul and Ricky battle for that was actually determined by one of the last putts. So a year, came down to the last event and some of the last putts. So it really makes for good content for us, and I'm excited to see these battles continue through the rest of the year and into next year.
Oh, for sure. To see all these players feeling as excited as they are, and to see the kid, as some people put it, Gannon, really coming in hot at such a young age. It's exciting to see where it'll battle to. Ricky even knowing that he was in first and took it down, but he's like this. He's got to really savor these moments because the competition is getting more tough.
They are. Shout out to Alden Harris and Tristan Tanner. They're aced hole 5 in the last round. Both, I think, sidearm shots over the water.
Oh, yeah, that's an iconic ace. We got an ace last year with Calvin Heinberg, and so it's an amazing ace to get. But I'd say it's a more common one at Maple Hill.
Yeah. Simon Lizotte actually hit the
bottom
base
of the base, with a
turnover. Which
Yeah.
is very incredible in my mind.
He's got some moves.
It's being able to, that's really being able to trust your disc over the water there.
Oh, for sure.
So player stats for the weekend. Tee to green gained was won by Ricky Wysocki. Gained putting was Paul Macbeth. Gained putting inside Circle 1X, no surprise here, was Andrew Marweed.
Every week.
And then newcomer to the list, actually, gained in Circle 2 was Jared Hill.
Congrats, Jared.
So good to see you up there, and shout out. Great putting from Circle 2. Let's go ahead and get into the women, though. The main storyline here, I would say, is Kristen Tatar going to, win another event.
Yeah, continue that dominance.
Or is someone else going to, really give her a run?
Yeah, this has been known to be Paige's stopping ground. Sarah Holcomb also does very well up in these woods. She's been a winner of the MVP Open before. It's very exciting to see where these women will place up in the rankings. Unlike the men, there was a 4-day tournament for them. They started through the brutal weather. They had, like I said, multiple lightning delays. So women will be coming literally on the field, off the field, on the field, having to wait. And after round 1, we had Kat Murch in the lead with a 2 down, which is what is that? 1,000, 10-7 rated.
10.07 rated round. Yeah. Like we talked about on the last episode, these women are throwing more and more 1,000 rated rounds all the time, and it's so impressive. 2 down out there is a very good score. Kristen Tatar, though, no surprise, right behind her at +1. So to see them at the top right away, I would say Kat has been, playing a lot better. Kat Murch, that is. So to see her up there in first place is not a surprise to me.
No, it's not a surprise either. I think it'll be more concurrent to see her up at the top.
Yeah, and, Kristen, at this point, we expect her to be within the top 3, for most of the event at this point with how she's played this year so far.
I mean, she is unmatched confidence.
And then at +1, we have Paige Pierce, Sarah Holcomb, Madison Walker. Valerie Mondahandu, and Ella Hanson. So congratulations there to a good first round out of them in what were very brutal conditions. I think I saw a post from somebody saying in total time their round ended up being 9 hours from the women. So
Yeah,
that's hard to just stay in it mentally, I would say, for that first day.
for sure.
Hole 1 was the hardest hole in the course, and the only birdie came from Kristen Tatar.
Yeah, she's got a drive that's able to get over that water. I think it's at least 450 feet or 400 feet to the edge of the water. So she sets up her shot probably pretty well, way ahead of most of the women.
And we actually, on the first day, had no birdies on hole 16 or hole 13. For our conditions, not really surprised there.
I'm not surprised at out of that at all. Those conditions were too tough to even handle. So glad that they were able to move past that and move on to round 2.
Round 2 leaders come in at 4 over total. Kristen Tatar and Paige Pierce. At 5 over, we have Missy Valdez, Ella Hanson, and Missy Gannon.
Yeah, after that, at +7, we're going to have Rebecca Cox, Deanne Carey, and Kat Murch. Followed at a +8 is a Natalie Ryan, Hannah Blumroos, and Valerie Mandahano. The second day, I'd say, was a better representation of where the field was lying. The conditions weren't as bad. They weren't definitely better as the conditions got better as the tournament went on. And to see Kristen and Paige is more of the battle that I would have expected to see. Paige is known to do well here, and she's going to show up.
And I would say we haven't really seen these two battle since Champions Cup. Would you agree with that?
No, I would agree that it's usually one or the other that's showing up, and I think it's overall been Kristen's year. So Paige has to really make a moves on Kristen early.
So the hardest hole, again, hole 1 for them, no surprise there, played actually as 1.21 over par. So a whole stroke and almost a quarter over par.
Yeah, the only birdie was...
That's pretty ridiculous to see. It does play as a par 5 for the women, correct?
I don't know if it plays as a par 5. I would believe so, but I cannot tell you until I look it up.
Either way, holes playing at over a whole stroke over par is pretty ridiculous, even for the FPO field. But on that day, the wind did change, and coming in on day 2, there was a significant headwind there. So with that pond being there, you're more of a right or left. We're going to have to go instead of being able to go over it like, some of them are able to.
For sure. And it's lucky that we have these great volunteers that are working. It's been said that we had the best spotters any year of the tournament. There's also a few divers, one in particular that's in there with a wetsuit getting everybody's disc. MVP, the Maple Hill has changed up their shop, and they've really gotten working on their lost and found, and it's incredible to see all those discs brought up and to see how many people actually put it in the drink.
Yeah, I think when we first stepped in the shop that first day, there was maybe 1 stack out front. Mm-hmm. And by the end, when we left, there was probably 12 stacks, maybe
at
more.
Least 12 stacks that were just fresh. There was
probably like
some
15 to 20 discs per stack.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
So we did check. It was actually a par 4, so it was playing as a par 5 on that day too. Mm-hmm. One thing to note is the only birdie came by Henna, and she also had solo birdies on that day on 18 and 16. So for the round, she had 3 solo birdies. Pretty impressive. So I'm going to give her a little round of applause.
I'd say that's when Henna's putting was really starting to warm up. When she is on, she's probably one of the top 5 putters in the FPO field, but it's seen that it's got to stay on.
She also has very good distance on why she was able to even reach some of those holes. Like 1 in 18 are not easy.
No, she was also another one that was in the FPO $1 Million Ace Challenge, where her accu distance is second to none, where she's able to put a pin close to pin, and I was very excited. I was on catch cam filming those, and she had some of the heaters that were getting close.
And if you haven't checked that video out, I would say go check that out. We also have an MPO $1 million shot out there, so go check those 2 edits out.
Heck yeah.
Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. And we're going to get on to round 3 here. Round 3, we had some shakeup in the leaderboard. We actually had Natalie Ryan shooting up the leaderboard to a solo first place with a 3 under par, 1,013 rated. At 6 over total, we have Missy Gannon and Kristen Tatar. 7 over, we have Valerie Mondahandu, Paige Pierce. 8 over par, Rebecca Cox. And once again, hole 1 playing as the hardest hole on the course.
Yeah, this third day before the cut is pretty interesting because Paige falls to chase card, and there was an interview after about how she feels going to chase card and what it's like usually battling up to the people around you, and she said that she was going to make a statement to win from chase card.
Yeah, those statements are always something to, take polarizing one way or the other. But in my mind, it shows that she has the confidence that she's still one of the best players in the world and she's able to get it done no matter where she is, whether it's lead card or chase card. And she's only a few strokes off, so it's not like it's an
undoable task.
Yeah. And if anybody can do it, she's one of the people that can. But getting into that 4th round, we had some pretty good scores. And Kristen Tatar is actually going to tie Natalie Ryan at 1 over par for the event, and we're going to have a playoff.
Yeah, those women really fought. Paige Pierce ended up coming at a +2, so she would be in 3rd place. She really fought for that first place to finish, but was not able to finish it out. And even Hannah Blumroos had an amazing run where her drives from 2 and 3 probably matched, but that putting, it just fell off at the end, and it couldn't stay together for her to stay up in the top.
Yeah, she ended up finishing at 10 over total, but once again had some solo birdies out there. One is hole 16.
Yeah, that's an impressive That's the downhill one that if you've ever seen the Kevin Ace, as well as Gavin Babcock hit that ace in a tournament. So that's pretty sick.
Very impressive out of them.
Yeah.
Getting back to the playoff here, I'm sure Paige could have probably found 2 strokes throughout her round, maybe even through that back 9 that could have propelled her to a solo win, wouldn't you say?
I'm positive that Paige could have found multiple strokes. It's just Maple Hill is not your average course. It is number 1 for a reason, and it gives you challenges, and it doesn't give you anything always familiar. So there's rolls and kicks that'll happen that you weren't expecting, you didn't see before.
So Paige is going to fall 1 short of her goal. However, congratulations. It's a good push on the final day. And going into our playoff, at Maple Hill, you play 18, followed by 1 in a repeating fashion in sudden death form. So the women went back to hole 18, and during the playoff, both got it inside the green for a birdie look.
Correct.
However, Kristen Tatar was on circle's edge or just outside the circle's edge, and Natalie was about bullseye, I would say.
Yeah.
Kristen had a good run at her putt. However, it was right off the front rim and out, and Natalie Ryan is going to get her 2nd win of the season.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought battle where Kristen said she couldn't have put any more in there. Those putts and those drives were looking phenomenal, and Natalie just was able to push it out today.
Yep, able to come out on top and get her 2nd win of the year. So, one other thing, we had an ace in that final round. Alex Benson on hole 16.
Yeah, that is that's a sick ace. That's from the OG T-pad. That's where the old MSDGC footage used to take place. The men now shoot up from the top, but the women on the bottom, that's a nice one right over the water, and it's just clear right into the guts of the cage.
Yeah, that would be one of the aces that if you hit it, you'd probably remember for a while, if not.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably going to be her top ace for a long time. And the fact that it was captured, I think I saw the Disc Golf Bra repost that. It was really sick to see. That's good on them.
All right, you want to give us some player stats for the women, Isaac?
Of course. On tee to green, we have Evelina by 9 points. On gain putting is going to be Macy Valadiaz. Also on the C1 gained is Macy Valadiaz. And C2 is Alexis Mandajano fighting those stats to show her up his sister.
So that by 9 points is a pretty large margin. So in other words, she was throwing the disc very, very incredibly well. Probably just struggled a little bit on the putting green. Otherwise, she would have been up there in contention for the lead, I would say.
Yeah, Evelina was also one of those women in the $1 Million Ace Challenge where those European women can crush.
Yeah, she was throwing some bombs out there.
She's throwing some bombs, and she's freaking smiling while she's doing it. And so, yeah, no surprise that she's at the top of the field.
All right, and let's get into the weekend wowzer.
So we have a sweet wowzer for you. This one is going to really encapsulate what Simon's round was like. His last round was an amazing 10 down, and that's the reason why he pushed himself and propelled himself, I'd say, was I'm going to show you hole 11. Hole 11 is an amazing drive where it just smashes over everybody, far past anybody else. So we're going to play that right now. He's on the tee and just pushes this one.
Wet conditions, and look at it just ride.
It's well over my head. Hits this tree, and I'm sure it would have gone another 50 feet.
Oh, it rolled back into it?
It rolled back into it. So now he's stuck in this position where he's still another 300-some feet out. But I think that's the new mind bender.
Little patent pending right there.
Perfect patent pending right underneath the bucket.
Goodness.
I'm seeing that. I'm like, I thought he was far away. How'd he do that? And then he just finishes the bird. That's a birdie, folks.
That right there is how you get a birdie on hole 11 at Maple Hill.
Incredible.
So with holes like that, there's no surprise. There's no surprise that he won.
No, I mean, that was just him feeling confident and just him doing his usual. So that weekend wowzer is just, I'm sure I could have found multiple wowzers, but that was the
incredible. So next up is USDGC, and then followed by Champions Cup, or no,
the Pro Tour Championship.
Pro Tour Championship. There it is.
Yeah, there's been a lot of golf this season.
Too many tournaments, too many events. We'll be here for the Champions Cup, and we'll be taking USDGC off, but we're going to make picks for both of them. Isaac, you want to start us off with your USDGC pick?
I'm going to pick Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky Wysocki.
Why
are you picking Ricky?
I think he won GMC. He was close on Maple, but it's a bit it was a bit rougher for him. So I think he's going to come back. He's going to have plenty of rest. He loves being down in the area, and I think it's going to be his game. If not, I think my sleeper is going to be Chris Clemens.
Chris Clemens sleeper.
Sleeper pick, Chris Clemens.
All right, I'm going to pick Calvin Heinberg.
I like it.
I think he's due for a win. He's played very well this year overall, and I think if he plays his game, this course sets up well for him.
Yeah, I think this course, I was lucky enough to check it out in person last year, and I think it looks a whole lot different in person than it does in video. And these shots are a whole lot more open, and he's able to sauce his eagle. I'm sure that he'll be up in the top.
Yeah,
not ahead of Ricky.
So for the DGPT, I am going to go with Paul Macbeth. I think he's salty about not winning the All-Star tour card. He lost the tour championship or the whatever that card was. What do we call that?
Yeah, the All-Star card.
The All-Star card. There it is. Thank you. I would say he was probably salty about losing that one to Ricky.
I think that's pretty fair. I'm gonna go Aaron Gossage. I'm pretty sure he's in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got to be in.
He's got to be in because last year he just made it in. I remember he was the 32nd pick getting in. I think he's due for a big win, and I think this is going to be his well-earned thing at the end of the year.
Love it. Love that pick. Personally, big fan of Gossage, so if that one comes true, I'm not going to be mad. But that's it for this episode. We thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one. Isaac, what do you got for us? Anything to leave?
Keep banging them chains.